Hello there everybody, it's Knight 2 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Dies Irae Amantes Amentes. In the last episode, we intruded upon the castle. And, of all things, Rusalka decided to be the one to battle, well, I guess really not much of a decided, just kind of situation that arose. Now it's Rusalka versus Machina. And I was correct. Machina is the only one that was wearing black gloves. And that was indeed a new CG, so that's fan-fucking-tastic. Also, it kind of makes sense because this is the newly added Irae route, so of course there's going to be some new stuff. Okay. And it looks like Trifa, Kane, and Lisa are going to be battling against, Eleanor. Which that only leaves Schreiber. And Wilhelm, too, while I'm at it. That's gonna be fun! My heart sank into the trance-like depths of intense concentration, recalling memories thought to be lost in the untended corners of my mind. That by itself wasn't so strange. Reminiscing about and expanding the core of one's craving was an essential part of molding it into a creation figment. As such, there was nothing strange about remembering these things, given the abnormality of my present situation. Those memories had merely sunk so deep into the recesses of my mind that it had been a great while since I actively acknowledged them. I merely focused my mind to the extent that they ended up gushing forth as well. My current foes were simply that powerful. There was nothing more to it than that.
つまりお前は野じ馬根性で見物人を決め込んでいたら巻き添えでくだらない目にあったと。要するにそういうわけかよ、アンナ。
Oh? The year was 1939, shortly after the incident that would change Anna Maria Schwaglin's life. Her meeting with Reinhard Heydrich and Karl Kraft.
こっちはいい迷惑だな。身内からゲシュタポなんぞにしょっぴかれる間抜けが出ると、後々難癖をつけられかねない。俺の怠惰な日常をかき回してくれるなよ。反省してくれ。
The foul-mouthed man was her colleague in a sense. They both served at the Bureau for the Study of Ancestral Heritage, also known as the Irae.
だがまあ、帝国の悪名高き斬首官殿の元から生還したのは褒めてやる。全体の1割もいないそうじゃないか。生きてあそこから出られたのは。
He made a mocking smile as if implying this called for a celebration. He was indeed a very odd man. Still a child as far as Anna was concerned, yet in possession of no extraordinary abilities to speak of. Nonetheless, he could always end up gaining the upper hand during all their little chats. He was not a bad man, but he had a foul mouth, and was no stranger to sarcasm or being out of line. Naturally, Anna was not of the age to mind such superficial matters, yet, strangely enough, she found herself smiling during their conversations. There was something mysterious and intangibly fascinating about the man that captivated her.
けど面倒だな。どうせこの先俺らも軍事利用されるんだろう。ここはただの収集家が寄り集まってるだけだってのに。
So, Karl Kraft before he becomes Mercurius, or the original body of Ren? Because we know Ren was molded after oh god, I'm already tasting copper again.
レーベンスボルンを見てみろよ。あれなんか元は福祉施設だったんだぜ。それが今じゃ天才作るにはどうたらいうネジの飛んだ理念に汚染され始めてる。ここをおかしな方向に転がすのだってそう難しくはないだろうさ。知ってるか？日本じゃアメリカの大将を受殺する儀式だか魔法だかを坊さんらがマジにやろうとしてるらしい。近頃言われ始めたノストラダムスの予言云々もそれと似たようなもんだろう。
Oh dear.
いわば今は幻想と科学が入れ替わろうとしてる過渡期だな。だからこの2つが同意に存在して融合する。人類史上何度かあったろう混沌の季節だ。俺らはさしずめ呪われた伝説の武器とやらを解析して汎用化する。現代最先端のバカにしていただけるわけだ。魔術師、錬金術師。諸先輩方はそういう名で呼ばれたが、後世俺らにはどんな名前がつくのかね。
He had no idea that a true magician had been standing right in front of him. Neither did Anna feel like enlightening him.
何にせよ、そうなったら困るよな。
There was no reason for her to unveil her secrets just so she could gloat. Only third-rate magicians would revel in something so foolish. Does that mean I'm a third-rate magician? No, goddammit, I'm a sorcerer. Secrets were a fundamental part of sorcery, and so she held her tongue. They had known each other for a while, but the man had yet to begin doubting Anna Schwaglin's identity as a perfectly everyday woman.
仮にそういうものがあったとしても、俺は集める側でめでる側だ。自分自身が幻想になろうなんて思わない。アンナ、お前もここにいる以上はそうだろう？
Anna answered with a vague smile. She could not believe that the words of such a foolish man made her falter, which added yet another pellet to the puzzle deposit assembling in her heart. The puzzle deposit. That's This freaking novel is just giving me like different types of like phrasing that I could probably better use.
遺産はありし日の輝きを内包したまま止まっている。それがいい。彼らは永遠だ。俺は永遠に憧れる刹那でいたい。
That was one of the main reasons she thought him an odd man. He adored ephemerality despite being in love with eternity. He rejoiced at the transient nature of life, but yearned for something eternal. And nonetheless, he rejected the notion of walking the same path forever. In short, he wished to stop time. He couldn't stand to part at the fleeting moments he so cherished. Instead of admiring the rushing scenery, he would rather have it all stop at the one scene that was his favorite, so he could marvel at it for an eternity. He would rather look at a picture than what went on outside the window of a car. Indeed, his disposition fit the job of a curator very well. There could not have been a more apt man to serve an institute of archaeological and cultural history. In a way, one could call him an overgrown child. The naivete of his craving clashed with reality, doomed to failure from the start. He still clung to a wish that most people stuffed into the deepest recesses of their mind to be forgotten. His stubbornness at this point almost commendable, his obsession with heritage and his work exceeding the comprehension of an average man. And so, Anna could not help asking whether he thought his birth had anything to do with that obsession.
さあね。だとしても、俺の遺伝子が見てきたのは血の記憶だぜ。
Apparently, he came from a long lineage of judicial executioners. His genes might have remembered the spilt blood of thousands, but in turn made him fall in love with the ephemerality of life. All men were mortal, yet that was precisely why their stars ought to burn the brightest in life before guttering out. He wished for that light to remain unending and immutable. One could interpret this as grieving for the ephemerality of human lives, or the logic of a killer seduced by the glitter of the guillotine. To Anna, both points of view rang true and false at the same time. Meanwhile, he continued in his usual sarcastic tone.
ともかく、これから慌ただしくなるだろうさ。俺もお前も立ち回りには気をつけないとな。
He had a premonition that their humble establishment would be swallowed and plunged into the darkest depths of the German Empire.
だから嫌なんだ、激動ってのは。お前とこうして話してる今、そう悪くないと思ってたんだがな。
All he wished for was to collect all fleeting moments immortalized by artifacts of the past and to marvel at them in seclusion.
俺は幻想になりたくないが、時の止まった普遍は好きだよ。
No wonder Rusalka has such a fascination with Ren. What would have happened if Anna confessed that she herself was the kind of phantasm the man both dreaded and revered? Would he love her as a witch who could remain unchanged for an eternity, or detest her for the exact same reason? Anna could barely contain her curiosity. She wished to tell the man everything and observe his reaction to the slightest detail. Those were her honest feelings, and yet...
本当。あなたは変人ね。
In that moment, she chose to remain silent. She let the man, her sole anchor to reality, slip through her fingers.
お前に言われたくないぞ、アンナ。
Yet the man and his philosophy remained in the deepest recesses of Anna Maria Schwaglin's mind like sediment. In the end, he was an average man. His craving for eternal moments might have been a rarity among mankind, but it could not stave off mortality. As far as Rusalka knew, he was shot and killed as a private in some meaningless battle a few years after their conversation. He might have wished for eternity, but in the end he had no choice but to step beyond the precipice. The two of them lived in different realms. It was inevitable that he would leave Rusalka behind. And that fact frustrated her, even if only slightly. After all, executioners were the sworn enemies of witches, and she let a man like that go unhindered. She allowed him to vanish like a flash of light. There was nothing more to it. The episode meant nothing to her. It was a mere remnant left from her previous life, yet she found it impossible to expunge it from her mind. Rusalka Schwaglin's own memories seemed to immortalize the man's obsession with eternally unchanging moments. Oh! Rusalka furrowed her brows at the deafening explosion going off in the distance and the heat wave that followed.
今のはザミエル。相変わらずデタラメやるわね。あいつったら。
Understatement? That earlier explosion was no doubt caused by our giant cannon. No living being could survive a blast from that thing, which meant that Rusalka's two companions were most likely in mortal peril.
ま、クリストフはなんだかんだでうまく立ち回りそうだけど、バビロンは危ないわね。あの子、どんくさいっていうか、バカだから。
Nah, no reason to play coy anymore, just be honest about it. Rusalka's main concern was that Lisa might upset the Crimson Knightess to the point where her wrathful cannon shots would reach all the way to the arena and end up blasting her in the process. As if she didn't already have her hands full.
あなたさ、何食べたらそんなバカ力出せるのよ。
I have been drinking liquid cyanide for 300 generations at this point. Do you have any idea why I'm able to do this? It's the pure, unadulterated cyanide in my knuckles!
There was a certain hint of pain and exhaustion in her voice. Her creation figment was all about immobilizing her opponents, binding everything it touched in place without exception, and it most certainly affected her current opponent as well. As proof of that, Machina moved not a single step from the center of the arena where the shadow first caught him. At the same time, however, that was all Rusalka could do. Under normal circumstances, she had countless means to devour whatever ended up trapped in her web. She could drown her victims in a sea of her voracious shadows or simply use one of her instruments of torture to end them. That should have been easy for her to do. Yet the power that was once enough to stop an entire battalion in place could now barely halt the step of a single man. As a result, unable to weaken her concentration for even a split second, Rusalka herself was rendered immobile. The situation reminded her of an endless game of tug of war.
ま、別にずっとこのままでもいいけどね。待ってりゃクリストフが何とかするでしょ。
マレウス、一つ聞きたい。お前はなぜこんなところにいる？
For a moment, she thought she had misheard something. Even putting aside the fact that Rusalka hadn't heard the man directly address her before, the contents of his utterance were beyond puzzling.
幻聴かしら。なんだって？
お前はなぜこんなところにいるのかと聞いている。
Well, you see, there's a new route, and they just kind of had to add me in, so it's actually pretty good. Also got some development and all that good stuff.
I failed to see the reason for that.
Popularity.
Oh. Alright, fair enough.
なぜって。
Apparently, Rusalka did not mishear him. Why was she here? The bastards swallowed her into this cursed place themselves, though she feared the man was asking about something else entirely.
まさか、同士討ちを煽ったのが気に入らないわけ？
Well, just a little bit. They were kind of talking about me not rebelling and all that, despite how much I kind of hate my position right now, and I'm kind of pissed off that you're just casually able to do that right now, so... yeah. I'm equally pissed right now.
いや、だが少々下船。
Oh, by the way, I lied.
お前は盛しい性分だ。欲望よりも保身に走る。ベイなら不思議なことでもないが、お前の柄ではないだろう。
This is a good picture. This is a very good picture.
そうかしら。私結構周りをいじるのが好きなたちよ。
Okay, now I'm just trying to imagine a battle between Bay and Machina now.
今の立場も含めてか。
The sheer pressure of Machina's voice made Rusalka take a step back. Although the man was still bound in her shadow, she was not foolish enough to get distracted by conversation, though that was most likely not the Somber Knight's goal. He was merely curious, and that made it all the more unnerving, and all the harder to casually evade giving an answer.
っていうか、今のあなたの方が私にとっては驚きだったりするんだけど。意外に喋るじゃないマキナ今日。手足が動かないと口だけでも回したくなる？
Well, naturally, one part of my body just doesn't want to cooperate. I have to compensate with the other parts. Pretty easy. Understand, right?
You're kind of weird.
聞いているのは俺だ。増年均とに情が湧いたなどということもありえまい。お前は己の都合でしか動かん人種だ。わからん。何か譲れぬものでも見出したか思い出したか。大方の見当はつくが、しかし。
In the next moment, the impossible happened.
He took a step.
多少の敬意を示してやった。貴様が昔のままなら、とうに殺していたところだ。
Machina took a step forward despite having his legs shackled by the Natsira, and with that, a crack ran across the entirety of Rusalka's spell, splitting her forehead open, painting it crimson.
そんな、どうして？
Rusalka put her everything into holding him in place, but to no avail. Rather, each of the man's slow steps would open a new wound on her body.
俺を止める？無駄なことだ。なぜなら最初から止まっている。ましてここで、この場所で。俺を縛るなら、あと20万は魂を持ってこい。
Well, at least he was kind enough to put a number on that.
さあ、いいのか、そのままで。
Rusalka released her creation figment at the very same time an iron fist flew her way. The entire arena shook in the wake of a tremendous explosion. The row of seats where Rusalka used to stand mere moments before had been thoroughly obliterated. At this point, the man's fists exceeded the destructive power of a ballistic missile. But the true terror of his weapon lay somewhere completely else. Rusalka could not let them touch her. His pair of fists were weapons that rendered all attempts of defense completely futile. When faced with the destructive power of Deus Ex Machina, all weapons, armor, and magic were frail and weak as paper.
そうだ。そうした方がいい。
Machina slowly turned to Rusalka. The witch had evaded his fist by a hair's breadth and deployed her Natsira at his feet. The Somber Knight's joints creaked as he moved with the sluggishness of a tank slowly turning cannon.
安易な形成もやめておけ。自殺行為に等しい。
Shit, that's right. She has many weapons, but I'm pretty sure the damage that she was insane if he just freaking punched one of them. Oh boy.
そんなこと言われなくても分かってるってば。
Rusalka had already suffered a near mortal wound by having her creation figment in half wrecked, and she might die for real if her Anan airbay was destroyed in this state. She had but one option available to her.
私、こんなところで死ねない。
Her shadow was the first aberration that Anna Maria Swaglin claimed following her downfall. It alone did not belong to the sorcery of the Obsidian Table. She received it not from the Mercury Magician, but that mysterious man of shadows. It was her only hope in this duel. She had pulled down and drowned thousands of souls in its confines, all for a single craving.
なんでここにいるのかって言ったよね。
She loved beautiful things. A spark of the ephemeral moment enticed her. Oh, don't go. Don't leave her crawling upon the earth. She put all of her strength into controlling Natsira, the flesh-eating shadow shot towards Machina. She could only catch and swallow him.
怖かったのよ。置いていかれるのが。嫌なのよ。抜かされるのが。
And That was why she would latch onto and pull down on the legs of those trying to soar the skies. She would be left behind in the dust. No one would wait for her, but she wouldn't take it anymore. Her husband abandoned her, the villagers imprisoned her, and then she met the Man of Shadows and ended up chasing after him for countless years. The only reason she had lived this long was because she felt it too miserable to simply wither away alone, abandoned by the world. And yet life gave her nothing but misery as she drifted farther and farther away from all she wished for.
私歩くの遅いのよ
Everyone else was simply too fast.
追いつけないなら止めてやろうってそう思ったのよ。文句ある
Irae Himura wished for the Obsidian Round Table to tear itself apart from the inside, all in order to protect Ren Fuji.
私以外みんな止まるように手伝っただけ
Rusalka thought to keep both the swastika and the conjuration of immortality all to herself. She would live long enough so that neither the people from the past nor those from the future could ever leave her behind again. She would not die. She did not want to die. She wished to become a brilliant light, its radiance admired by all. She craved for an eternity of ephemeral love.
だから私はこんなところで
Rusalka's scream gushed forth from the very bottom of her soul, yet the somber knight of iron simply met it with another of his punches. Rusalka's shadow shattered, its pieces dispersing into nothing. And with that, there was nothing more for her to do. It had only been a dozen or so seconds since Machina switched to the offensive, yet the battle was already over. The difference between the power of the two was overwhelming.
置いていかれるのはいつの世も死ぬべき時に死ねぬものだ。死んだ者には追いつけん。お前の考えでは溝が余計に開くだけだ。
分かってるもんだけど
In the end, she could not find a single kindred spirit in this world. As she exceeded in age even the members of the Obsidian Table, she failed to keep up with the tempo of their lives. She could neither love nor wallow in madness. All had been denied to her. Her pace was too slow. All the world's radiance would slip through her fingers. And so, living longer than anyone else was all she could come up with. She had no idea what else she could have done. Maybe she would have discovered something had she caught up with and gazed at the true face of the Man of Shadows. But the more time passed, the more she was left behind. Pain, sadness, and loneliness gnawed at her heart. She failed to catch up to and grasp that ephemeral moment of her life.
自死、自戒の衝動だ。お前がそれを自覚したとき、寿命が来ていたということだろう。マレウス、お前の行動は自殺志願者のそれと変わらない。羨ましいぞ。終わりにできるな。
The sad part is, I kind of had this sickening feeling that it was going to be incredibly one-sided. The man's words betrayed no hint of sympathy or emotion, yet there was no mistaking it that he genuinely felt envious of the woman.
もう何よそれ本当にムカつく
Surrounded by clouds of dust, Rusalka fell to her knees with a sob.
大嫌いよあんたたち最初から全員嫌いだったんだからもういいなんかしらけちゃったしちょっとは頑張ったからもういいやねえほら早くやりなさいよ
そうだな。
Machina clenched his fists again. If there was one good thing about them, it was that they killed faster than one could feel pain.
マキナ ここは幸せなところなの？
さてな。
誰も私を置いていかない？
皆がハイドリヒの混沌になるのみだ。
そっか。うん。なら私はそれでも。
The man's somber fist fell upon Rusalka. However, in the split second before it robbed her of life,
だが、俺はこの世界の終わりを望む。
the witch that lived for 300 years could not help making a smile at the dryness of the Einarjar's remark. It had been a genuine smile, embroidered with nothing. The two were completely different, yet she felt almost like she was talking to him. Unfortunately, her smile would never reach its true target, the man of the ephemeral moment. Oh boy! Hi! Fiery winds and dust filled the entirety of the space between them. An average man would have had his lungs scorched from within by a single breath of this seething air. Yet in the midst of this hellish place there billowed a single wisp of smoke with almost surreal grace. Her blood-crimson hair fluttered in the wind like raining hellfire, and although half of her face had been horribly burned beyond recognition, the rest of it boasted undeniable feminine beauty. Seething passions mingled with blood-curdling frigidity, the hideous meeting the beautiful, fire merging with ice, the terror-instilling half-Centaur then addressed the two, as flames of absolute zero raged all around her.
聞き間違いかな。
Not really, the music sounds pretty
何やらたわけた密談
dope.
が私の耳に入ったのだ。軍罪をわきまえの間抜けが二人。我が君を愚弄していたように思うのは気のせいか。
Maybe, but you can't prove it. Okay, probably you could. Oh shit, she's in the castle, that's right, she probably could. Fuck, she's got evidence! They were all but an extension of the castle, rendering any attempts at a secret conversation meaningless. What did I just say? Eleanor narrowed her eyes at the two guests, smoke escaping her lips.
クリスト。
Oh, did her eye actually just change for like a minute there? I think it's only slight, but I swear her eye just suddenly shifted. Like it looks slightly more, I don't know, annoyed? Or surprised. But later Trifa used his body as a shield to protect his companion from the deadly flames. Smart!
ブレンナー。
Lisa Brenner glared at Eleanor from behind Trifa's back. They both faced Rubido, one of the Gold's Imperial Guard, with unwavering conviction burning in their eyes. Yet Eleanor laughed the display off as a ridiculous farce.
まあ、何でも構わんす。貴様らがどういう狂気に侵されたかなら、正直知ったことではない。私はただこの絵として、主に歯向かう海賊腹を中陸するのみだろう。来いよ、見苦しい恥知らず。誓いの成婚を受けながら、黄金の偉大さも理解できんクズめの。貴様らのような癌は放置できん。後腐れなく切除してくれる。
Despite the severity of her words, Eleanor's tone remained gentle. If anything, she happily welcomed this outcome. Love, murder, friendship, respect, animosity, they all amounted to the same for an immortal, bloodthirsty Einarjar. Killing was hardly different from offering a loving embrace to a friend. The luster of her tremendous soul dwarfed even the raging heat waves. Much like Machina, she was not a being mortals could defeat. The battalion of three was all a part of Reinhard. Thus, the question was how to escape, rather than how to prevail. How to distract her, how to buy more time. That was what Trifa and Lisa should have concentrated on, but Eleanor allowed no room for tricks. Even among the three Imperial Guards, she was the hardest to slip past. She lacked the aloof nature of Machina, as well as the madness of Schreiber. Only ironclad loyalty bound her to her lord. There was no room for games or chaos in her heart. Therefore, if there was but one gap to be found in her perfect armor, it would be the penchant for self-destruction, a concept that Reinhardt prioritized above all else. Yet,
これは少々厳しいですね。余計今の私はあなたにとって代行ですらないということですか。
メッキの剥げ落ちた貴様ならばな。
Eleanor stated it like an obvious fact, but it was only then that Lisa came to see the abnormality ravaging the priest.
あなた
Oh, he's breaking apart right now. Cracks and fissures litter Trifa's exposed flesh. All present could understand what it meant.
もはや貴様に玉体は御せん。伏せろよ。本来の矮小な器に。
As Eleanor snapped her fingers, palpable contempt burning in her eyes, Trifa's body shattered. Rejection response. Trifa reached the limit before Eleanor's attack could find him. His soul surged forth as the explosion scorched the priestly robes that clad the now empty vestal. However, both Lisa and Eleanor reacted in a peculiar fashion. The latter shuddered in awe and looked away from that glorious display of naked virility. The former made a self-scornful face, as if reminded of an old sin. Deafening silence fell upon the room for a few seconds.
それは貴様の本音。
The man's body sunk into the floor of the castle, vanishing without a trace. The two women were left in the hall on their own. Eleanor spoke up in a whisper, a host of indescribable feelings slipping into her tone.
貴様にとってあれはお手か。
Lamentation, wrath, envy, fear, a whole range of emotions, all aimed at a person she found unable to comprehend. For as long as she lived, Eleanor von Wittenberg would refuse to acknowledge Lisa Brenner. The demonic flames raging in her eyes made that clear enough.
聞こえていたのね。私が彼の問いに何て答えたか。
In the end, who was the father? We already know! Despite drowning Lisa's answer in an assault of flames deep in her heart, Eleanor wished to know the truth.
そんなに憎い？
So Lisa stood up and addressed her former friend.
そんなに許せない？
Valeria Trifa did not die. He was merely torn away from the vessel. Still, it did not change the fact that he was evicted from the room and that Lisa now faced the Crimson Knightess alone. Anyone could realize that Lisa's position was hopeless. Still,
私が彼の死体を操ったのは
a mask manifested on Lisa's open palm. It reeked of death, filling the whole room with the stench of a graveyard.
ええ、確かに私はインプよ。最悪の。
Sup, dude? A giant monster materialized out of thin air.
だけどあなたに文句を言われる覚えはない。
There was no hint of despair in Lisa's eyes. Despite the hopelessness of the situation, she did not feel like backing down.
汚いとか卑怯とか女としてどうだとかあなたに何を言う資格があるのよ、エレオノール。
Kicking off the ground with a tremendous explosion, the dead warrior lunged at Eleanor with a ghastly battle cry, its speed that of lightning. At the same time, Lisa's scream pierced the sky with comparable vigor.
誠実じゃない。出し抜いた？笑わせないでよ。女の戦場に立ったことすらないくせに。あなたの感情なんて嫉妬ですらない。それを抱く前提条件、気持ちの形すらつかめていない分際で。
Oh.
私に何かを言おうなんて60年以上遅いのよ。
A great sword, 3 meters in length, fell on Eleanor, spewing purple lightning in all angles. But before it could finish its arc,
そうだな。
Eleanor stayed in place, taking the tremendous blow without even attempting to defend herself.
私は女の感情など知らん。複雑回帰で理不尽で成否も測れぬ壊れた代物。自己中心的な都合を正当化するためだけに振り回す狂った武器など知りたくもないし持ちたいとも思わんよ。そうした意味で私が貴様の戦場に立っておらぬというならそうなのだろうぞ。 理解などできんから。
Eleanor did not exhale as much as a grunt when her right shoulder took the dead warrior's blade. The blow decimated the floor below her feet, yet she brushed it off as if it was the mere jab of a stick. Her eyes slightly narrowed.
さしずめこれも貴様の言う戦場とやらに身を投じたバカ者か。
ええ、そういうことになるんでしょうね。
The blade of the great sword still shimmered and fierce, purple lightning. Both women understood what that meant. As such, there was no point in prolonging the conversation any further.
ではこう。
Eleanor shook the cigar between her lips, and a single spark crumbled down from it, touching the giant's body during its descent. That was all that happened, and the dead warrior was instantly engulfed in violent crimson flames.
仮装してやろう。見るに耐えん。
Jeez. The difference between the strength of the two is nearly comical. The giant vanished within the flaming inferno. Not even Lisa could escape the burns. She made her Irae disappear the moment the flames erupted, but that was not enough for her to escape the explosion unscathed. Lisa staggered with a soundless wail on her lips, burns littering the entirety of her body. Eleanor, meanwhile, continued in a calm voice. These aren't even battles, they're just one-sided slaughters. The difference in power is fucking insane.
自ら破滅へ向かいながら断崖があるから悪いなどと抜かすな。
And I should know about jumping off cliffs, dear lord.
貴様らの言う戦場とやらは崩落の上と変わらない。焼けた道中に立って踊り、調子も墜落死も嫌だという。飛翔できぬことを理不尽だという。黄金に救いを求めた。ならば魂を支払え。貴様らは盗人だ。焼かれる業がありながら火を恐れているたわけに過ぎん。そしてそんな知れ者に翼が生えることなど起こりえん。
They had bent the knee to Reinhard Heydrich once. They were beguiled by his power, scorched by its magnificence, and piled up countless bodies in the name of his glory.
ハイドリヒョウを倒す。その恵みを文字通りかすめ取り、天津さえお手に思っているような貴様がか。笑わせるなよ、ブルンナ。私は心底貴様のことが気に入らん。
Eleanor cared not for the fool's circumstances, reasoning, and emotions. She would not even entertain the idea of acknowledging. The Crimson Knightess seethed in silent fury.
なぜそこまで恥知らずになる。
How could she possibly defile the concept of honor to that extent?
物事には原因と結果がある。貴様の過去に今が答えを出したの。積み上げた屍は献上するのが道理だろう。すでに一度同じことに手を染めた身。
Countless rifles manifested behind Eleanor's back. Lisa felt as if an army of spears had been pointed at her neck, but she displayed no fear. She merely let out a sigh.
イザークのように。
Once in the past, she sacrificed her own flesh and blood to the gold. Beguiled by the promise of miracles, she let go of her own son.
あの子は私をずっと恨んでいるのかしら。
Not minding the numerous muzzles pointed at her, Lisa tossed her head up and gazed at the ceiling. Did the heart of Valhalla, her son, resent its mother?
私はあの子が怖かった。その目を正面から見られなかった。自分の罪を叩きつけられているように思うのよ。だからええ、切り捨てたわ。あれは私の業で、補填で、向き合えない弱さそのものだったから。あまりにも見過ぎていたから。
Eleanor slightly furrowed her brows, but remained silent. Lisa's words filled her with disgust and insulted all of her ideals, yet she could not bring herself to interrupt the woman. Unable to comprehend the peculiar sensation, Eleanor furrowed her brows even further, but all that did was irritate her further. And so she forced her lips to part.
彼は 他者を恨むなどという感情を持っておるまい。
Isak, the first Soninkind, possessed nothing. A fact that ought to surprise no one, for he lacked the very foundations of such things. And it was none other than Lisa who had made him so.
気合増加。そうしたものは何かを奪われなければ発生しない。貴様は彼に何か一つでも与
いいえ、
Lisa bestowed upon him nothing. She gave him no foundations, and so there was no way emotions could have sprouted in the bastard who had possessed nothing to begin with.
だからあの子は全部飲み込もうとしているのね。
He had nothing, thus he craved everything. Heaven and hell, God and Satan, all things in creation, from the first universe that was to the last that would ever be.
我が愛とは破壊の語。
Lisa made a tired smile. Her eyes glazed in the recesses of her past.
何のことはない。結局私自身もあの子を父親と同じにしたのよ。怪物を生んだんじゃない。怪物にしてしまった。
I'm suddenly getting like weird Nick Urasawa's monster vibes right now. I can't say why.
それを今になって気づいたのよ。だからねえエレオノーラ、私はあの子たちを救いたいと願う。諸子とは逸脱しすぎてるけど、これが今の私の本音なの。あなたの美観に照らし合わせて、やっぱり私は醜いのかしら。
そうだ。
One of the rifles went off.
貴様の論理はバイタのそれだ。重荷ゆえに捨てた事実を棚上げし、今更になって母親面か。私は女でないかもしれんが、貴様が腐っていることだけはよくわかる。世の女、世の母たる者、己がその代表者であるかのごとき主張。剣道、厚顔無知極まりない。侮辱であり愚弄であろうよ。貴様こそが女の敵というやつだ。端的に言おう、グレンナ。バビロンはゲスだ。世を腐らせる悪徳の目しか生まん。
Four successive shots pierced Lisa's shoulders, chest, and belly, yet she took them all without any hint of resistance.
醜いよ、ブレンナ。貴様、殉教する聖女にでもなったつもりか。普通を快楽にすり替えているのだろう。ならばこそ楽にはしなさい。肉の一片すら残さず無にしてやろう。削り殺してやる。
Look.
己が在庫を食いるというなら泣きわめいて絶望しろ。それこそが子供たちへのレクイエム。自己満足の偽善などヘドが出る。
The quantity and speed of her shots kept increasing. By the time Eleanor ended her speech, Lisa was already fighting off a torrent of bullets.
そうね。確かにあなたの言う通り。
Yet she refused to fall. If anything, it seemed like she was slowly advancing forward.
私が女として最低の部類なのは自覚している。偽善者なのも自業自得なのも、それを棚上げしているのも。本当にどこの女性からどう言われても言い訳なんかできないのよ。私が全部悪いのだから。
By this time, she had turned into a bloody mess. Her tongue, teeth, and vocal cords were utterly decimated, yet still her voice rang clear and resolute. Step after step, she pressed ever onwards. Her voice grew ever closer. Eleanor couldn't believe what she glimpsed and heard through the torrent of bullets and clouds of smoke. Inexplicable, unfathomable to an eerie level, her common sense could not find an explanation for this phenomenon.
逃げないでよ。
Eleanor realized she was about to take a step back.
のれ崩れだ。
A scream spilled forth from her lips as she launched a missile to decimate her foe once and for all. The incoming warhead, the sizzling conflagration. Realizing that death was near, Lisa made a faint smile. The two could never see eye to eye. Even a reunion after 60 long years had turned into a bloodbath. At this point, Lisa could only laugh. They fought all the time. They could not help competing. Their BDM days were those of constant struggle against each other. They even fought over who could wake up earlier. Those were naive and childish days. Whenever Lisa tried recalling the nostalgic radiance of those times, Eleanor would always pop up in her mind's eye. And that was the same for the Crimson Knightess, was it not? You make my blood boil, Eleanor. Why do you keep popping up in all of my nice memories? I'm tired of constantly seeing that dumb mug of yours. Get it out of my head. Why couldn't she ignore her, despite detesting her so? Why was she still trying to compete with her at this point? The whole thing felt ridiculous. Hadn't they fought enough? Hadn't they competed enough? No matter how much their life changed, it seemed like they simply could not get enough of going at each other's throats. Eleanor refused to acknowledge Lisa's way of life. Lisa refused to admit defeat against Eleanor. The stubbornness of the two reached unbelievable heights. What could have been the initial cause for this decade-spanning conflict? It didn't matter which one of them represented the correct bearing of a woman. There was no point for either of them to run for elections at this point, long after they abandoned their fatherland. Therefore, it was merely a vague feeling that they had unfinished business between each other that drove them forward. They both grew old, their many years swallowed by the river of time, yet still they refused to stop their flight, finding themselves racing at the very edge of hell. There was most likely something that the two had accidentally left behind and were now merely struggling to retrieve it. Wouldn't you agree, Eleanor? Eleanor declared she would scorch the woman's flesh to the bone little by little, that she would make her cry out in despair, and never in her life had she gone against her word. She prided herself on seeing all of her promises through to the end. So where had her dignity vanished in that moment? Why did she end up launching a Panzerfaust? Why did she suddenly decide to scorch the woman in an instant? Would she have been in danger otherwise? Would she have damaged herself? Did she not make that decision? No. The very notion of that was impossible. The world would sooner turn upside down before that woman could hurt her. Yet she could not contain her anger. She felt an inexplicable sense of defeat come over her. They clashed and fought countless times, more than enough to make her sick of the ordeal. They were no longer children trying to outperform one another. How long would this senseless bickering continue? Both of them had long been fed up with it and lost interest. And yet they still found themselves unable to turn a blind eye to even the most meager of discords. You make me sick, Brenner. Every last thing about you rubs me the wrong way. But why was it so? The issue of the matter might have lied with the fact that the two have never fought over anything truly childlike. They bickered over thousands of things, and yet that alone seemed to have slipped through their fingers. You see, Rhea is cute beyond words. A genuine little lady. And that was what the two lacked. Lisa's youth. Eleanor's youth. Do you now understand what we missed out on? Even though it was something natural to all young women. As such, refusing to go through the correct motions, the two ended up never growing up, remaining as two callow brats, forever barred from proper womanhood. Therefore, Lisa Brenner now craved to become a mother. Rhea, Isak, and the children in her heart. She wished to hold them all tight in her arms. And to do that, she had to settle the score with Eleanor once and for all. May this defiled body of mine hold out for just a little while longer. And as the 100th shot ruptured, her prayer reached its target. A dry sound reverberated across the hall, neither caused by a bullet nor by an explosion. It was small, almost inaudible, compared to the thunder of gunfire that had dominated the room just moments before. Eleanor could not comprehend as to what could have caused it, nor why one of her cheeks suddenly grew numb. What did Lisa do to her? She slapped you! You go,
言
Lisa!
ったでしょ、エレオノール。あなたにだけはとやかく言われる覚えなんかないのよ。女の戦場に上がってすらいないあなたにだけは。
Fuck you! You go, Lisa! It was Lisa's hand, having suddenly emerged from the mantle of smoke and dust covering the air, that hit Eleanor's cheek.
結局あなたとは一回もちゃんと喧嘩ができなかった。あなたはいつも逃げてばっかり。
Can I just really appreciate this right now? I'm just really... I just really appreciate this. All of Eleanor's bullets found their mark. Lisa tried neither to dodge nor to defend against them. She simply endured. Despite having suffered mortal wounds, she held on with an iron will to maintain her crumbling body, delaying the moment of her demise. It was no easy feat. At this point, it was nothing short of a miracle, exceeding any reasoning known to man. As such, Eleanor failed to comprehend it, allowing herself to be hit straight in the face. If there was an expression to describe what led to this outcome, it would have to be sheer feminine tenacity. For indeed, it lay beyond the comprehension of the Crimson Knightess, who had cast aside her womanhood.
あなたの本音は一度も見てない。外面を取り繕ってかっこつけて火の打ちどころがない正論だけを武装しているバカ。その下に隠れた本当のあなたはただの臆病者よ、エレオノーレ。
Lisa Brenner was a repugnant woman. The concept of ethics itself would condemn her, and that was true. She could not deny it. Yet neither did she wish to listen to those that used her barren to justify their wrath.
私のことが嫌いならちゃんと嫌いな理由にまっすぐでいなさいよ。社会がどうとか国家がどうとかもっともらしい理由をつけていつも逃げてる、隠れてる。好きな男を取られたのは悔しい。要はそれだけなんでしょ。
Eleanor said nothing. There was no way for Lisa to tell what was going on in her mind. Nonetheless, the Crimson Knightess did not attempt to deny the accusation. Was that how she expressed mercy during the final moments of her once comrade's life? Or was she merely rendered speechless by the ludicrousness of the comment? Or could it be she really had no words to retort with? All that was clear was that she failed to deny Lisa in that moment. Lisa, robbed the last of her strength, sunk down onto Eleanor's chest.
私たちの青春はろくなものじゃなかったけれど、もしもそんな理由で喧嘩ができればね、素敵だったと思わない？
勝手な話だ。
A denial, yet it carried an odd sense of timidity.
貴様もキルヒアイゼもそういうところが気に食う。自分がそうだからといって周りも同じだと信じて疑わないところがな。はあ、だから女は嫌いなんだ。それしか頭にないらしい。貴様らの脳内では男に抱かれない女は惨めな敗者ということにでもなっているのだろう。人生など人の数だけあるというのに。
じゃあ抱かれたいと思ったことは？
あるさ。
Eleanor answered the question without a hint of hesitation.
むしろ常に思っている。だが私のそれは貴様らの言う甘ぬるいものではない。欲しいのはぬくもりでなく炎。私を焦がす輝きに英語を焼かれていたいだけだ。
また情熱的な告白だこと。
好きに勘ぐれ。何とでも言わせてやる。 貴様はゲスだが、その意地とやらに不覚を取った。ならば敬意を払うことに嫌はない。眠るがいいブレンナ。私と喧嘩がしたいのなら以後いくらでもできる。ここにハイドリ秘境が追わす限りな。
But in response to that parting line,
だから残念だっていうのよ。
Lisa only made a faint smile.
ごめんなさい。やっと抱いてあげられるわね、イザーク。私が言ってあげるから、どうかレアを。
The devil's castle trembled in the wake of her fading voice. For a moment, the demonic structure appeared like a giant cradle, with a newborn babe peacefully listening to its mother's lullaby inside.
母さん。
Oh? Isak cocked his head in response to the scream of a soul he had absorbed. Well, in truth, he could not literally proceed with such an action. He had no real body to speak of. He was merely a part of the whirling chaos. A mere drop in the ocean, but also a heart, the most important cog of the mechanism.
今、母様が解けた。
Therefore, he could now understand her. A new drop fell into the ocean that he supervised, the resulting ripple telling him of everything that transpired. Ah, see. And so Isak, the core of the devil's castle, molded a new soul into its thick walls. Felt nothing else. He was simply that kind of being, and molding anything new that fell into his sea was but a natural process for him. And he would continue to do so up until his being overflowed, emanated, and swallowed all there was in the world. Maintaining this sea, this castle, was the Gear's sole duty. And that was why, despite realizing that he had swallowed his own mother, he felt nothing in particular. Joy, sorrow, resentment, wrath, or desolation, none of it colored his psyche. Unable to feel exhaustion or boredom, he merely quivered in the synchrony of the ripple. That was all. He loved all and everything. And thus he swallowed without discrimination. All would be equal before the swirling chaos of Veldal. From a newborn babe grieving for its mother's milk to a vile criminal despised by all of mankind. Sonnenkind, the favorite of the Gold's children, was that kind of being. Or at least, that was how it had been until now. Everything should have ended here, and yet... A slight incongruity. He kept turning like the dozen gear he was, proceeding with his operation like a well-oiled machine, yet he suddenly became aware of an aberration within his system. Or was that a scream? An odd creak escaped Isak's being as he rotated according to the usual protocol. The turning of gears would generate sound, so there was nothing odd with the occurrence. Such a concept was not applicable to his being. It was only true in the world ruled by common physical laws. The same did not apply to the sea under his supervision. The melody of grinding gears meant but one thing: abrasion. They would clash against each other and scream in agony as parts of them ended up eroding to nothingness. Hence, why regular gears would only hold for a couple of years and required constant maintenance and replacing. No mechanical part that caused sound could function for an eternity. As such, what on earth could have happened? No change occurred in Isak. He felt nothing. Yet he could feel abrasion in his being. In other words, there was someone else who cried within himself. In that case, he finally remembered that he swallowed someone else in his aloofness. There had been two gears currently within himself. The devil's castle trembled. Isak ein Sonnenkind paused to ponder as how to treat this phenomena that cast a shadow upon his duty. That way, they could not remain as eternal gears. Isak could not fulfill this mission bestowed upon him by the gold. girl possessed something he was bereft of.
私は母様を知らぬ。
But the girl did.
故に泣くのか。
Hence, he would erode.
いいだろう。ならばその愛、この私が飲み込んでやる。
Oh! Isak opened his eyes. They sparkled in gold as if able to see through everything, yet they looked at nothing. Beauty and ugliness, holiness and vileness, all were equal, no more special than rocks and trees before his gaze. The eyes that Lisa Brenner could not bear to look straight into. The eyes that were the reason he turned out like this. He received no alternative. Nor the emotions to resent or lament that fact. As such, Isak was on the verge of devouring the forbidden fruit. He desired to know its taste. No differences should have been allowed between Sonenkins.
お前も私と同じにしてやろう。いや、そもそも。
What made his voice tremble? Or was that a sneer? He loved all and everything, and thus he swallowed without discrimination. All would be equal before the swirling chaos of Veltal, from a newborn babe grieving for its mother's milk to a vile criminal despised by all of mankind. And yet...
私が憎いの？
Lisa Brenner melted into the castle, causing a ripple of valiant motherhood to wash over it, the very same feeling she harbored towards Rhea Himuro. If Isak indeed felt resentment towards the girl, then that made him unworthy of the title of Sonenkind, the most beloved of the Gold's children.
地獄を知れ、テレジア。
A slight abrasion that occurred due to a barely perceptible creak. Yet that was enough to upset the gears of the castle's heart. Oh. In that case, he had to reevaluate his concept of hell. It was the lowest world of deafening screams that sinners would be cast into after their inevitable demise. That was about it. But what did the words lowest and screams mean in this context? Torment, treading a mountain of needles, swimming in a sea of flames, crawling through a valley of ice. Anyone with a semblance of imagination could come up with the countless images at will, and none were wrong. In other words, hell was where one died over and over again. If it was indeed a place prepared to punish sinners for their transgressions, then making it as undesirable as possible made sense. However, depending on the time or place, the concepts of good and evil could change. There was no less trustworthy law devised by mortals. What would be the factors that led one to be cast into a mountain of needles, sea of flames, or a valley of ice? Isak had no penchant for riddles, and so gave a straight answer. It was all the result of their own choice. The master of the castle, the gold, was not preparing a different trial for every soul that ended up in his world. That'd take him a long time. Everyone had been free to choose where to go themselves. They would find kindred spirits and mold with them, thus becoming scaffold for the castle, strengthening its foundations. They would create their own places of torture. And there, they would constrain themselves with the causes of their death. What led to their deaths? Were they too aggressive, too passive, or just unlucky? Birds of a feather flocked to death together. Their essence would merge and resonate, creating new laws that amplified. In short, those that died in a fire would continue to burn forever. They would continue killing each other with sympathy in their hearts. Whether or not they were conscious of it, the fact changed little that they all walked a path stained with blood and strife. Those who slayed a being that wasn't their kindred, and thus alien to their own amalgam, forged their beings into a separate hell, and would be graced with the honor of being called an Irae. That was how this castle had been made. Thus, Teresia, you should obey the same law. Teresia. A clap of hands reverberated among the gears, and...
では、地獄巡りを始めよう。ラ・ディビーナ・コメディア。
La Divina Commedia. The Divine Comedy? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end it here for right now. Seems like there's going to be quite a bit of an... Well, how do I describe this? I think this is actually a very fitting title for right now. So... the battle between Rusalka and Machina was incredibly one-sided. Then again, so was sort of Lisa and Eleanor, but that one was a little bit different. Hell, Lisa was able to get through the fire and fucking slap Eleanor, and maybe that caused something. There's a slight, I don't know, I don't have any hope in this. I've learned that you're not supposed to have hope in this novel or anything like that. But there is that slight chance that that encounter with Lisa may have affected Eleanor in some way. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see kind of how this goes forward. I just realized that means that Ren's gonna have to go through Machina, Eleanor, Schreiber, Wilhelm, and then Reinhard. Holy fuck, dude. You have a shit ton of work ahead of you. Also, something about Trifa. He's shattered, but his soul went somewhere. But he's still within the castle, so he wasn't destroyed, I think. I wonder where his soul went. I don't know. Well, I might have just melted into the castle at this point. I don't know. But I'm going to end it there, so if you all like this, be sure to let me know. Thank you all very much for watching, and the choices for thumbnail templates are going to be really fucking hard. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Hello there everybody, Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.